Hahn, and I'm here with...
My name is Michiru Oshima. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
It's good to see you.
Me too.
Just now. We just met
yes.
for the first time.
Yes, first time.
And where are we?
Today.
Yes, thank you. We are in Tokyo.
Yes.
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 You had a concert?
Yes.
What did you do?
Concert ありましたね。
Yes, I have my concert in Tokyo, two concert, Nagasaki and Tokyo. And you had concert. How many concert?
I had 6.
Too much.
But every concert is individual. It's not the whole number. It's the individual concert that matters. So
You are very tired.
but I'm happy to be here.
Me too.
We're in your studio where
Yes,
you
a
work.
small studio.
So how do you work?
How do you work?
どういうふうにして仕事しますかと。
Oh,
Do you have
normally.
a way that you start? Or
なんかいつも始める前にやることってありますか？
昔はね、ペンで書いてたからペンを研ぐところから
あ
今はコンピューター
Before she used to always, the pencils, to write the scores. So always the first things she did, cut the pencil.
oh,
But
Wow.
now computer.
Now
Yes.
she composed with the computer. She writes the scores with computer.
do you start by cutting the computer?
彼女はじゃあ
Yeah.
練習する
So
前
how
に
about
儀
you?
式があるのか
There is any ritual or ceremonies?
Just trying to find the time and try to do it?
もうね仕事時間とあれを見つけるだけだと。
だけど Me too.
Yes. There are different creative things I like to do within my work. It's not just the practicing, it's also, I do some writing or the post-production for the record. I listen to the sessions. And so those things, I know I have a certain amount of time to work. And then I think, what could I do the best right now? And that's what I start with, and then I hope I do the rest also. I have to
い
be
ろいろね、
careful.
彼女今すごい忙しくてレコードもレコードも今ねリリースしようとしてて、そういうプロダクションのね話もあるし、いろんなことを今やってコンサートのリハーサルだけじゃなくていろんなことがあるんで、まずは何からまずね整理してやっていくかと時間のまずあれをつけることが。
It's tempting to just do the fun stuff. And then you never get to the rest of it, so. So when you are starting to write a piece, we were talking about this just a little bit earlier, you have almost a visual beginning.
最初はかなりイメージがくるね、ビジュアルがくるっていう話ですね。
So what would that be for an
どういう
example?
風な感じですか？
ヒラリーが演奏してる感じ、ステージでこういう風にこの曲を演奏してるかなっていうこのフォームっていうかスタイルをイメージして、なるべくそれがこういう感じかな、こういう感じかなっていうのでまず。
She has always, visuals of you, how you
Because
play.
you wrote the piece memories from your project.
Yeah, that's right. How you play and how you wear or how you move, and she has always visual first.
なぜかというと演奏家が楽しく演奏してる、気持ちよく演奏してる姿をイメージすると実際にそういうことがすごい大切だと思って。
Because she tried to imagine that you were very glad and you were very happy playing her piece.
気持ちよくね。
So that's emotion, which very positive emotion, which comes from her visual. It's very important for her to write the music.
Can you write if you have a sad visual, or do you always try to go optimistic?
美しく
Beautiful first.
あとすごくなんだろうな、懐かしい感じ。
Some kind of nostalgic, the emotions too.
What do you do if you can't get to your beginning place?
最初ね、どうしても書き始められる時はどうするか。
Like if you just stuck, like you can't manufacture imagination. So if it's not going in the right direction,
でもほとんどないかな、
あー
イメージしたら大体出てくる。
Is it not?
There is, almost, such there isn't almost such a case.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're lucky. That's pretty lucky.
だけどやっぱりそのイメージするのがすごい大切。
But
Very
always
important.
they start, having visual or imaging, get a
Imagination.
imagination of what
In the
she's
images
gonna do.
and
Yeah,
vision.
first.
だから音で考えることはないんだよね。
Never, never start with the sounds.
サウンド、
Always
ノ
with
ート。
visuals. Yeah.
だからこういう音にしようと思って作曲することはノートね。
She never, think about how she wants to, the sounds,
メ
sound comes out or which
The end
note
result,
she,
like
yeah,
which,
that's right.
where are you going
That's right.
with the music? It's where are you going with the feelings
Feeling.
and the structure that you see.
Mm.
Yes,
So-
and then you match the music.
Mm.
So almost everything you write is a commission now.
Commission?
Yeah,
Yeah.
commission.
まあだから大体注文があるものをやってるのか。
You're
ああ、
asked
ノーマ
to
ル。
write.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Film and TV and animation. Always time limit. So until when.
Yes.
まあでも、あとね、やっぱ何分何秒っていう。
And very, very precisely, this, part, how many minutes, how many seconds,
Right.
because,
How many?
it has to adapt to the film, and
Right.
yeah.
And they give you the pictures then, because the film, the animation, the music is the last thing, usually.
そうね、最初ね、いつも音楽が一番最
So
初ですね。
they are telling you what you are writing for. Do you write differently in that case from how you write for a concert?
まあコンサートもね、だから
そうね
曲を書くときとはやっぱり違うんですかとか、最初に映像が必ず来て、
そうね
その最後に音楽つけるじゃないですか、そうじゃなくて。
I mean, it's a limit, but it's also liberating to have the precision.
だからね、やっぱりいろんな、すごい制限がつくじゃない、映画、音楽とかの場合、それはどうしてですか？
もちろん違う。
Of course, different, different way.
だけども、やはり一番大切にするのはどの映画の音楽でも、アーティストのためでもやっぱりイマジネーションだね。
However, but no matter what the commission or what's a piece of music, she starts with always imagination and the visuals too. Yeah.
And working with a director, is it difficult?
Very hard job. So always director said many things.
Yes. Things they want to have changed, and then they have a concept.
Yes. 馬があるでしょ。あれは私が10作品一緒にやったディレクター。
This is a figure, a horse, presented by our director, film director, very famous Japanese director who died 2 years ago.
But I composed with him 10 films.
And yeah,
だけどすごくストリクト and
very strict way, and he's very severe guy, but always she keeps.
そうね、だから
So this horse is the director?
Yes.
And he sits over in the stereo speaker. Looks like he's ready to race. Ready to go.
He has a horse.
The director loved, to bet the horse races. So that's why.
He's a horse.
This is very cute. Keeps you company while you write. How did you get into music?
どうやって音楽の中入ってきました？
音楽の中に入っていくか。瞬間、もうすぐ瞬間にこう。
It's very spontaneous, it's just instant.
But when you were a child, or
yes, yes.
The musical. Okay, sorry.
Yes,
musical
yes,
career.
oh, I'm interested in the other part too.
Okay, sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
3 years old. 3 years old. なんだろう。音楽教室って言うんだね。
At the age of 3, she started going to school, musical school
Oh,
in
yes.
Japan.
で、アフターエレクトーン ね、電子オルガンをやった
The first thing she played is the electron.
Electron,
It's
the
kind of
It's like a
keyboards.
keyboard.
Yeah, very special keyboards. Invented in Japan. Yeah.
Always I listened rock, jazz,
Yeah.
and after modern music, jazz, modern jazz, and で現代音楽、モダンミュージック、クラシック、竹光でその後に、when I was 70 years old, and I listened to Tchaikovsky. なぜチャイコフスキーに入ったかというと、エマーソン・レイク&パーマーというロックバンドがクラシックをロックにしてたので、それから聴くようになった。
So she used to play always rock and pop and jazz, modern jazz, every kind of things without, but classical music. But at the age of 17, she, she listened to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's she they play the classical pieces, rock with the rock arrangement.
で彼らがチャイコフスキーをロックでやってた。
And they play the Tchaikovsky piece,
with the rock arrangement.
Rock arrangement.
So she got
それで
interested
原曲
in classical
を
music.
そうそう聴くようになって、それでクラシックを勉強する。
And she started learning classical music.
The original classical music at the university.
Yeah, at the university. She went to the the only that's university, the music university.
Oh, okay.
In Japan. Yeah.
The conservatory.
Yeah, conservatory.
Yes.
Sorry, conservatory. Yeah.
Well, it's good that you found that Tchaikovsky with the rock arrangement when you were 17.
Yes.
Or else it might not have been in time for university.
Yes.
And then what you
珍しい、すごいレアなケースだった。
Oh, this is very strange case. Strange, it's not so often, in Japan too.
普通はちっちゃい時からクラシック
Because normally the people start learning classical music very
Right.
young age.
Right.
But she started just music. But after she turned to the classical music at the age of 17, when she started studying classical music, and every.
Wow, you started studying in university.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot to learn very fast.
Very 珍しい。だって彼女はすごいちっちゃい時から When you child study.
You studied. Yeah.
I was about 4. I was 3.
Yes.
Yes. I was one of the ones who studied the classical music from an early age. But there are some composers who are, classical composers who have a similar experience. So it's unusual maybe for a performer, but for a composer, you can come from any direction into classical music.
いろんなとこから入ってくる作曲家もいるんで、別に珍しくはないです。
私の友達にリチャード・ストルツマンっていうので。
Oh, and one of her best friends is Richard Stotzman, the clarinet player.
Yes.
And
I've known about him since I was really
that's right.
I grew up with his name.
Oh,
His
that's
recording.
right. Yeah.
彼がね言ったね、すごいヒラリーがちっちゃい時に会ったって言ってた。
So he remembered that he met you when you were very child. Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
Did you work together?
Yes, sometimes. I know where.
Was that when you were in New York?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've lived in New York and where else?
Paris.
Paris and Tokyo.
Tokyo.
So when you go to work, when you go to have time outside of Tokyo, like Paris or New York, are you going to have private work time so you can just write, or are you going on a trip to work with specific people?
どういうね、いろんなとこ行くときはやっぱり仕事のために行くのか、それとも自分の
両方ね、
both. Sometimes
レコーディングだったり、打ち合わせでミーティング。
She goes, to Paris for just a recording, and then she comes back to Tokyo with a meeting with, the team, and Or sometimes she goes to Paris just for a vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes almost composing.
Yeah, but
Very
the most time she
calm.
compose. She
Calm.
works with the
Oh, yes.
composition.
すごい静かだね、パリの方がね、東京よりね。
Because Paris, there are, here in Tokyo, she has a lot of connection with people and a lot of
Right,
business-
that's what I was thinking.
yeah, business people call her every day and come to visit. But in Paris, she can get concentrate, more than in Tokyo.
That's what I was thinking, that maybe it's good to have the separation and a place that you can stay for a while that's
だからね、まあそうやってね、ちょっとね、環境を変えるっていうのは大切なことだね。
It sounds great to live between Paris and Tokyo, I have to say. A lot of people are very jealous.
まあね、みんな羨ましかったです
Yeah.
ね。
So what are you working on right now?
今は何をしてますか？何の仕事？
いろいろあるよね。でも今年はその後半ね、アジアのエスニックミュージシャンとしてのサウス。
She has now, a project, which is based on the Asian musicians, different countries of Asian countries, 6 countries, and she gathers a musician from 6 countries, specific instruments, and she gonna compose and arrange it for one a concert for them, and she's gonna maybe give 6 concerts, every different kind.
Each country that the musicians are involved in. Is that your idea?
No.
Someone brought that together?
Yes.
Oh.
Very interesting. Ethnic musician, drum, percussion,
And also,
singer.
Oh, wow. That's
But
a lot.
ね、言葉も違うのね。
And they speak, they all speak a different language, and we can't communicate.
Yes.
Mentality also.
Mentality is different, the culture, everything is different. But this is very challenging job, project for her this year, and she's going to Thailand, next month, to just to meet, musicians of 6 countries all together, and she starts.
I don't know.
Thailand sounds fun though.
Challenge. Only challenge.
Do you at least get to meet on the beach? I mean, that sounds nice. That's a good meeting location, I think.
Have you been to Thailand?
Yes, but not very much, just one time. So I hope to go back at some point. Concert for 2 days.
Wow.
2 days.
So I went around Bangkok, but
Mm.
I didn't have a chance to go anywhere else.
それ以外はね、バンコク以外行ったことなかった
Someday, I hope.
お客さんちゃんとこう黙って聞けて。
Oh, how was the audience in Thailand? Audience.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Mm.
The Japanese audience is different from most of the
Ah,
audiences,
yes,
so
yes,
anything
yes.
is going to seem different from the Japanese experience.
ああ、そうなんだ。じゃあ日本人はこうやって
So
So
quiet,
quiet.
but for the right reasons. Like they all fell asleep. It's like, every note is like active for the audience. I think.
That's Japanese style,
Japanese style.
because we don't want be too rude,
Yes.
in a concert, so we will be always, respecting,
Right.
the artist, the player, and we love so much the classical music. So many people love classical music in Japan. So this is kind of
That's-
very different world in
Right.
Japan.
Well, So since that's what you spend a lot of time around, when you go and hear your piece played for another kind of audience, what's that like?
だからまあいろんなねそうやって全然違う今度はねまあそういう違う国のそういう人たちのために書くんだけどそれはどうですかと
Do you worry that if they move around, they're not enjoying it, or
もしかしたら全然聞いてくれないかもしれないし、全然気に入ってくれないかも。
何が起こるかわからない。
like why aren't they quiet? What's wrong?
何が起こるかわからない。
She doesn't know what happened, you know.
だけどね、新しい音楽に接することが大切。
And you know, this just gives her to experience very new kinds, of musicians and instruments too. So this is very important for her.
世界中にはね、知らない音楽とか楽器がいっぱいある。
Because there are so many instruments, so many musicians who are known, in our world. So she just know, very very limited, musician and instruments, but she wants to know more instruments and more, different world of music. That's why.
Well, the last question about your work, and then I have one general question, and then we're done. So, well, I guess I don't know how to express this exactly, but we were talking earlier about what it's like when it sounds the way you had in mind. But what happens when you hear something and it's not the way you heard it? What do you do about that?
いや、だけどでもちゃんと間違って回収すると。
だから when she composed,
sometimes it sounds right, but then when it sounds different, it could be equally good. It's just different, or it could be not at all what you had in mind.
だからさっき言ったように
Whatever the case.
要するに書いた時に自分が想像してたのと全然違う音が来たと言ってる時はね、まあ近いんだけど違うっていう時はあなたはどうしますか？その
As the composer, what do you do? Because you have the character of the performer, which is their character.
もちろんパフォーマーもそれなりに自分の個性があるわけだし、いろんなね人によって違うわけだけども、例えば同じ曲でも人によって全然違う。その時はあなたはどういうふうにそれを。
But it's also your character in the music too.
もちろんね自分の曲だから自分の通りに弾いてもらえる。でも人はみんな同じにはそれはどうしますか？
ケースバイケースなんですね。
It's case by case.
で、なんていうのかな、ものすごく大きく違わなければ、だいたい演奏家に任せる。
Normally, basically, she let the musician play as their,
the way that they.
That's right. But it's, very different from, her opinion and her concept. その時は
言います多少ね、少し。
She talks to the musician,
だけどで今さっき話したようにヒラリーの演奏はテープ送ってもらった時にテープってインターネットで送ってもパーフェクトだった。これは初めてだった。
And that was the first time. Then she, coincided. I don't know. She maybe she thought that was exactly 100% what she wanted when you played her new piece.
Because I sent you a rehearsal tape, and then
when she listened to the first time you are playing, and she thought that was perfect for her imagination and the concept, and that was very surprising because that was first time for her to have happened like this.
I'm glad to hear that because it doesn't always happen, and sometimes when you just hear it differently, as the player that there's no way you can do it the way the composer has in mind because you're a different person. But you feel bad about it because you really just want the composer to like what they're hearing. And you try, but then, at some point, usually the composer is very nice and says, I hear it differently, but your way is also valid. Like, you're playing it, so you should play. But then there's that little voice in my head that says, but I want you to like it too.
だからね、やっぱりね、そのやっぱり違う個性の2人がいるわけで、当然作曲家とやっぱり音楽家っていうのもね、こうぶつかったりでも、もちろんでも彼女は作曲家が喜ぶように弾きたいんだけども、でそのベストを尽くすけどやっぱり違う時は Yeah,
フィーリングだからね。
but it's kind of I think there should be some revolutions, between no evolutions of music
yes.
between the musician and the artist and the composer.
Right, it develops in
Development.
that transition.
Yeah,
Yes.
the transition.
But still.
ヒラリーからね最初にメールが来て
うん
何かアドバイスしてくれって言われた時に
うん
すごい困ったの言うことがなくてだからオクターブ上でやってみてとか
you
オクタ
send
ーブ
the
下でやってみ
the
て
first recording at
Yes.
Paris in Paris
The
to
concert.
her concert. She listened to your piece, her piece, and
ヒラリーがね
you asked her to write,
Some-
to say something about your playing,
アドバイ
but
ス
Yes, like what
she
can I do
was so
differently or what should I do?
Nothing アドバイスすごい
But
困った
you did suggest a revision too, though.
yeah, ちょっとなんか
Like
ね
to
いや
bring part of it
そう
down
ね
an octave, and
Yeah.
that sounds really
だけ
nice.
どそれはもうほとんど言うことがないから言っただけよ
she tried to find some, some wrong,
探して
something wrong, but she couldn't
Oh.
find it, and
Good.
she just,
いや本当に初めて
suggested
だ
very small things.
Yeah, you hoped that basically it's capturing.
Yeah.
But then what can you do? Like as a performer, you have the experiences that you have, and you have the feelings that you have, and you express them the way you do, and that's part of that transfer between the
そうね、
composer
だ
and
から
the
こうやっぱ
performer.
りね、お互いにこう、そういうやり取りの中で、
うん
やっぱりね、
うん
アーティストとそれからコンポーザーっていうのはね、それが一つ、
まあもちろんねだけど本当に普通はねほんの少しでも何かあるのね言いたいこと違うなってそれが全くなかったいやでも本当に全くでこういうことはね本当レアなケースだったのね
she thinks, that was perfect, actually, not coincidence, perfect, I don't know how do you say, actually, that never happened to her,
Oh,
she thought, sometimes, she thought that was, kind of, very destiny or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it was a lucky thing.
Lucky thing, yeah.
I think
Very
it's good.
だから私が聞きたかったねどうして
yeah.
私の譜面をそんなによく理解できた
So
のか
how
を
she
聞きた
thought
い
how you did it,
So
how you had the spirit of her music, without communicating, directly.
Why?
So she had a
I don't know.
question marks.
I just tried to
どう
do
し
what
て
I heard.
すごい私の方が今日聞きたかったのどうしてあんなに私のイメージ通りに演奏で
So
き
that
るの
was
か知りたい
very surprising.
It's always
Thank you very
easier
much.
when it's working earlier than when it isn't working, so it makes it easier. But
Thank you very
final
much.
question,
Yes.
general question.
Yes.
What do you like the most about working in music?
ああ、what?
音楽の仕事してて何が一番あなたは、楽しいっていうかね一番なんか
何が一番楽しい作曲してる時が一番楽しいかな
あ
私は書いてる時
な
が一番
なぜ楽しいかな
楽しい
She
Sorry.
loves composing,
Yes, always. I like composing.
Makes you feel good?
Yes, yes, yes. なんでかななんでだろう
仕事が辛い時
That's good.
もうなんかお風呂に入るような感じもう毎日の生活と一部で変わるのと
It
一
became
緒
a, just a routine, kind of routine, because she take a shower, she eats, she go to shopping, and she compose. It's kind of a routine, but it's very natural things for her.
Part of life.
Yeah, part of life. That's right. And she can't get rid of her works, her job.
仕事じゃないよね
It's
Her
just,
life.
it's
Yeah.
in you, so you found the right job then, I think.
すごいね、転職をね、持ったんですね。
You too
はい
あとじゃあ彼女に聞いてじゃあその音楽
So, what about you? How do you,
Same question.
what do you like,
I don't know how I would answer that question. I just ask it. I think collaboration with people. I really like. I really I like hearing creative ideas, and I really am quite the ideas person, and then I make myself do the details, but I like concepts. So working with people on pieces, you don't even necessarily talk about the concepts, but you hear them. And hearing someone try something new, that's really exciting. And then I can respond, I can try something too. So a good collaboration back and forth, that's what really keeps me like excited. Of course I love the music, and I feel very comfortable with music as a form and as communication, but it really kind of fires me up when I get to have a good collaboration.
まあ彼はやっぱり人といろいろやってコラボレーションの中からいろんなクリエーションをねやってっていろんなアイデアを出したりいろんなこうまあやっぱりそういうなんか人との中で新しいものを作っていく
好きなのね。じゃあ練習は好きかな。
She likes, you like practicing?
I like it as a meditation almost. Sometimes I don't think a lot when I'm practicing, and sometimes I do. Sometimes it's more like being in touch with the physicality of playing, but not being so deep in all of the thoughts all the time. And then other times it's all about that. And then the physicality is just how I get there. So
そうね、どっちかっていうとね、まあ精神的
depends
な
on
ね、
the day.
精神的なもうそういうのもすごく大切。
But I could also have a collaboration with the violin one day. You know, like maybe it's just feeling really good, and so I like playing it. And so to me, that's almost like a conversation. Or speaking with someone who does something a little different that's creative, like composing or painting or anything. Then I get creative ideas, and that makes me think, well, how could I play with those ideas? Then I go and I practice, and I'm like, how could I try that in music or try that in performance? And then on stage, everything changes. I love on stage when that happens, because I practice for the changes that can happen on stage so that I can be ready to try anything. So I practice different ways of playing a piece.
まあいろんなステージが起きるやっぱりなんかまあハプニングも含めていろんなやっぱりねそこでやっぱりアダプトしながらチェンジしていくっていうこともすごく楽しんで。
やっぱそういうハプニングがある。There is a happening sometimes in stage, on stage.
Things change all the time.
All the time.
Not the notes necessarily. When you're improvising, the notes change, but the meaning and the shape, the structure is always changing. Like I've been playing the Chaconne this season by Bach, and when I practice it, I get ideas and I try things. But then when I get on stage, every single time I'm doing so many things I've never done before. And I've played that piece so many times that I don't know how that's possible. I thought I did everything already, but not everything, but like all of my own ideas I would think I would have finished. And then I start looking somewhere else, but I get a little idea like, oh, maybe right now I should pull back a little bit from the intensity, or maybe I should just go. Or maybe I never noticed this voice before, so maybe I'll bring this voice out. And then the next phrase is altered because that one changed a little. So then how do I develop the next phrase so that it comes out of that and leads somewhere else? And then it's just this whole chain of things that change.
That's very interesting. やっぱりね、だからまあそのサポンにしてもね、あれだけもう何回も弾いてきてるけども、やっぱ弾くたんびに違うものになってから自分でも予想しなかったね、音が出たり弾き方が出たりしたりをやってみたりとか、だからこそまあ奥が深い。でもしそれがねもう全部やり尽くしてもう何も出てこなくなったら他のまあピースを選ぶだろうとね言ってね。
It's like composing. You probably couldn't compose the same thing twice in a way, because every note decision that you make leads to a different set of notes.
ね、作曲でもやっぱり一回やってまたやったら全然違うのになるんじゃないですかとね、同じものは絶対できない。
私はコンピューターで譜面を書くから時々声を忘れて 書いた曲が消えちゃうことがあるのね。するとその時に書いたのもう覚えてないの、3分前。
Actually, she writes the score with the computer, just putting notes, and sometimes she forgets, saving the files and
Oh no!
erased everything, deleted,
But I
and
forget.
she tried to, the writes the same score, but she never.
The flow
she,
is different.
Yeah,
then.
she
Oh.
can
もう
never,
3分前のイメー
do
ジ
the
はも
same
う
thing.
3分後には変わっ
Because
てる。
3 minutes, after 3 minutes after, the same music never, comes out.
It really is that moment.
In
Then
the moment. That's
you're
right.
writing the moment.
So she has to start writing from there on again.
そうそう。
You have to have a saving assistant. Every 5 minutes, someone comes
Yeah,
in and
that's
says,
right.
"Save,
Yes.
save."
But interesting, I think. ね、だからいつも変わっていく、新しくなっていく。そ
It's
れが
kind of,
creative.
changing every time. It's very interesting because in this world, nothing stays same, forever. So everything is changing.
お腹が
Our
空い
world
て
is
きたら、お腹が空いてきたら違う音楽になる。
when she gets hungry, the music changes.
だから一つの曲でも頭と割ともメロディーが違うことがあるね。
And even in the same music, in the same score, the beginning is different from the the end. And of course, because
疲れてきたり、お腹が空い
it
て
takes time, and the time passes, and she's mind is changing too.
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of very I think normal thing for us.
Yes.
Interesting.
Very
That's
interesting.
how life goes, right?
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.